Greetings people of Bakersfield, California, we are anonymous. This is our second video regarding number Optividzilva. We already told you what happened to this innocent man, so in this video we are going to told you the home addresses and phone numbers of the police officers that killed David Silva. We are also going to show you the interview of the Kern County Sheriff's Department Donnie Youngblood. And we are going to show evidence that proves that those deputies and police officers beat him to death, and with the witness phone call to 911. The evidence is very clear. So first, in this video it shows the deputies and police officers beating him up to death. Please watch. As you have seen, they were beating him up very badly. In the next video it shows him laying on the floor surrounded by police cars and with the police officers around him while he was screaming for his life. This video was taken from one of the witnesses.
Oh, no, that's a big ass board. Zoom that shit in, Paco. Look at that nigga's face.
going down here. They're going to run over here quick.
Hey, what's your mom doing going on? Pay attention, because they could be dirty. Yeah, that's what Paco's recording it. He ain't touching my shit.
This top had him spotlight and he was already laying down when I pulled that. He's already down, bro.
Nah, you could hit him on the body. Before you come up, you could hit him on the body, huh?
Yeah.
Walking his ass with him.
Yeah, they're popping.
Mouth so you shut up, look. That shit in his mouth so you shut up.
I thought he was going to come hit me with that stick. Shit. Okay? We all ain't right here for nothing. I guarantee we do something. God damn, I'll be size for one. Now there's blood. Oh, come on. Why you gonna get in trouble?
Yeah.
It's real.
Don't get in trouble, man, because that beat your
They
ass.
get you like
Why
that.
are they doing that and he didn't do nothing?
Something was done.
I don't know what he did, man.
8 cops trying to hold one guy down.
They will beat your ass and nobody will know about it, man. They will hurt you. I thought they had like a dog on them. Oh, that is a canine too.
Now you guys seen a hog feed.
He was screaming for his life, and yet none of those officers were helping him. That's not right. They killed him. This next video shows him laying on the floor from a different view. This video was taken from a surveillance camera far away and with the 911 audio, so please watch.
Kern County Sheriff's Office, how can I help you?
Yeah, your police officer is over here on Flower, and I think it's Palm. What is it, Mom? Palm. There was a man laying on the floor, and your police officers beat the shit out of him and killed him. Well, I have it all on video camera. We videotaped the whole
Okay, hang on 1 second, please, okay? This is the supervisor of the communications center. May I help you?
Yes, my name is Selena. I'm standing right here on the corner of Flower and Palm right now, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheriffs. The guy was laying on the floor, and 8 sheriffs ran up and started beating him up with sticks. The man is dead, laying right here, right now.
Okay.
And they're trying to survive him. I got it all on video camera, and I'm sending it to the news. These cops have no reason to do this to this man.
Okay, Lena, can you hold on just a second?
I sure will.
Thank you. Hold on. Lena?
Yes.
Can I get your telephone number so I can have the watch commander call you?
Yes. What's the number to this phone? What's the number to this phone? Yes, and I got everything on videotape. The man was not doing nothing. I got it from when they first pulled up on him to the end, and he's still not breathing. They were rushing him to the hospital right here across the street at TMC right now, still pumping his chest. He's been not breathing for the last. It's been 22 minutes now, and I'm looking at the camera now.
Okay, I'm going to have the watch commander call you. You said you were there in the area, correct?
Oh yeah, we're right in front of it when it happened.
Okay, I'll have the watch commander call you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now here it is, the interview of the Kern County Sheriff's Department Donnie Youngblood. Please watch.
As you recall, approximately a year and a half ago, deputies were in an altercation affecting an arrest of David Silva on Flower Street. And as you also recall, during that incident, Mr. Silva was transported to the hospital where he died. During the aftermath of that, attorneys painted a false picture of what occurred for our community to see and read. Attorneys tried to make the public believe that we beat Mr. Silva to death. And as you recall, we conducted an investigation. I asked the media to please be patient with us. It would take a long time to conduct this type of investigation. Shortly after we came back with the results of our investigation, the district attorney launched her own investigation, independent of the sheriff's. Shortly after that, I asked the FBI to come in and conduct a third independent investigation. The FBI with DOJ came back with the results yesterday that there was not a prosecutable case, I believe is the verbiage that they used. You know, this department is 99% of the deputies are out there doing a fantastic, terrific job. In this particular case, it's unfortunate that someone had to lose their life. But with the circumstances surrounding it, if you read the coroner's report, the autopsy report that the pathologist wrote and conducted, and then look at the three investigations that are independent of each other, you have to come to the conclusion that that attorneys attempted to paint a picture of something that didn't occur. And with that, I'll answer any of your questions that you might have.
So your reaction at this finding by the DOJ?
Well, certainly, I have to say I'm not surprised. I knew what the finding of that investigation would entail. I knew the facts of the case, of what had occurred. The reason I invited the FBI in was not to prove me right. It was to let the public have a more transparent view of what occurred out there. I already knew what occurred out there. I already knew that these deputies had done the job that they were supposed to do. I already knew that the deputies did not beat Mr. Silva to death.
So is this the final word on this?
Well, there is no final word when attorneys are involved. This I'm sure will still wind up in court on a civil matter, and we will deal with that as it comes. But I just think it's important that the public got this information, that we had three independent investigations from each other, and they all found the same thing. And so I appreciate the fact that when these things occur, there's a rush for the media to be first, and we've talked about this before, and I understand that concept, but there's also a rush to be right and correct. And I think that in this case, we all could have done better at controlling that. But I think we've done a great job. We have a great relationship with the media. We have a great relationship with the public that we serve. And I just felt it was important today to share the findings of the FBI and DOJ and their investigation that doesn't disagree with our investigation, which doesn't disagree with the district attorney's investigation.
Were any of the officers involved interviewed by the FBI?
You'd have to ask the FBI who they interviewed and who they did not. The only conversation I've had of any substance with the FBI was in the very beginning when I called them and asked them, would you please come in and conduct an independent investigation of this case? They did not ask me advice on who they should interview, how they should interview, and what information they should ask. They're well qualified in conducting civil rights violations and civil rights violation investigations. So I can't tell you who all was interviewed.
Because I'm hearing from the family that they believe that some of the officers involved were not investigated by the FBI. So their question, at least preliminarily, is They want to know, did the FBI do an independent investigation, if that may not be the right word, or did the FBI kind of review the Kern County Sheriff's Department investigation?
You would have to ask the FBI that, because I really don't have the answer to that.
Can you tell us what, if any, information that your department supplied to the FBI?
I cannot tell you anything that we supplied to the FBI. They did not talk to me, and they did not ask me after our initial conversation. They came in and conducted their investigation, and however they do that, but they did not confer with me after that.
In light of that event and the subsequent looking, has the Sheriff's Department made any changes to policy or training, or I'm just thinking off the top of my head?
Well, I certainly, you have to understand, every time we have an incident, we review it and we look at things that we might be able to do better, or things that we did well. But I can't talk about this specific case and what we might have done or not done, if anything, because it's still in the civil arena.
And just to review, what are the dispositions of the deputies that were involved? When were they reinstated? Were they reinstated? Are they still under investigation internally?
They've been back to work for months and months. After I completed my investigation and came to, with the results that I found, they were placed back on duty.
Did deputies make any mistakes that night, in your estimation?
I can't talk about that specific case because it's still in the arena of the civil process, and I am represented, and this department is represented by county council, so I really can't answer those questions.
And just lastly, how do you kind of reassure the public that you guys are out for their safety? Because a lot of, there's still obviously a little bit of anguish that comes with, the amount of coverage that we've given it, and how do you reassure the public?
There are people in the community, and they're very, very small in numbers, that if you conducted 15 independent investigations, would not believe the truth. So for those people, I can't change their mind. I understand that there's a family involved here that think some things occurred. I totally understand their thought process. Someone in their family died, and I get that. But I don't know what else I can do as the sheriff to convince the public that what we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing. I think 3 separate investigations is about all I can do. It's as transparent as I can possibly be. I could have said in the very beginning that I didn't want the FBI to come in, and they may not have come in, because they might not have paid any attention to this case except for the fact that I invited them in and personally called them on the phone, asked them to please take a look at this case and please come in and conduct an investigation, and they did.
Is there anything you would like to say to the Silva family?
I totally understand that somebody lost their lives. We deal with this in our job a lot. People die, and it's sometimes under unfortunate circumstances. I think the public knows that we're not out there trying to hurt people. We're here to protect the public. We're not out there to fight with people until they die. That's not our role. Our role is to protect the public. And in this particular case, it's unfortunate, and I feel anytime a family member dies and there's an involvement of law enforcement, you have this feeling of it really is unfortunate, because I know that they're not going to see it the same way that law enforcement sees it, because it's a family member, and that's understandable.
So after watching Donnie Youngblood interview, it sure would makes you mad and angry, since he declares that there were not going to be prosecution against the police officers that killed David Silva because there wasn't enough proof. Well, in this video we are showing you enough proof to put every single one of them in jail. So to add more, please listen to the officers involved. SGT Douglas Sword, which has been on force for 13.5 years. Deputy David Stevens, which has been on force for 5.5 years. Deputy Brian Brock, which has been on force for 1.5 years. Deputy Luis Almanza, which has been on force for 3 years. Deputy Jeffrey Kelly, which has been on force for 4 years. Deputy Tanner Miller, which has been on force for 4.5 years. And Deputy Ryan Greer, which has been on force for 4.5 years. Those are all the names of the officers involved in killing David Silva and the amount of years which they have been on force. We doxed them, so here we are showing their private info. The email of the SGT Douglas Sword is sword@co.kern.ca.us. SGT Doug and his wife Mary Sword live on 2120 Jason Street in Bakersfield, California. Officer Ryan Greer lives with his wife Tara T. Greer at 6901 Hooper Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Their area postal code is 93308 and their home phone number is 661-391-3175. This is the private info of Sheriff Dunny Youngblood, so please listen. He is 62 years old. His date of birth is August 1950. His home phone number is 661-324-8158. He lives at 263 Jefferson Street in Bakersfield, California. His relatives are Aaron K. Youngblood, Damon B. Youngblood, Harold Lloyd Youngblood, and Mary Catherine Youngblood. This is our anonymous message to Sheriff Youngblood. Stop protecting your officers in their wrongdoings and lead into an investigation the officers involved in this man's beating and death. This case should be further investigated and all of the evidence examined and be used in a court of law. The officers should never have confiscated witnesses' cell phones, which in the state of California is illegal, especially without a warrant. The harassing of eyewitnesses must end. There is no need having innocent people who witness the beating death of another civilian living in fear of their lives. Let this serve as a message to all those involved. Their types of actions will not go unnoticed by the rest of the nation. You will be held responsible for your actions. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.